Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 73rd episode of the HSBG Podcast. I'm your host, Educatedcollins, and I'm here with my special guest, my constant co-host, the man of the hour, Mr. Shady Bunny. Shady, how you doing?
Well, after such an intro, who can't be doing well, Collins? Thank you very much. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay, but I don't know if I'm doing okay, if that makes sense. Like, my feeling now is okay, but I still know, I'm not doing that well in the meta. I'm still behind. Need to catch up, right? But, like, right now, I'm doing okay because, like, it's your podcast time. Whatever that means. But, like, am I, as I finish the podcast,
And
sit
so
down.
you're doing okay, but you'd rather be winning a bit more. So that's the short version. That's it.
I mean, it might be more deep rooted than that, but that would be a nice band-aid. You know what I mean? Like if I just wasn't losing, I'd probably be doing.
I don't think you're losing a ton, right? But yeah, that's
Dude.
It's just not up to your.
I had 4 8s in a row yesterday.
Yeah,
that I don't think I've ever had that ever. Like
still on the second page after that, right?
I actually okay. So I ended the stream after like the third loss. I went to bed. I took a nap, for like 4 hours. I played another game. I got that fourth loss, and then I told you. And then I just played the rest of the night, and I recovered all the MMR back.
Ooh, okay.
And it's so broken being 2K behind like the top one player, because like second place is normally I get first place points for that. And then third place, I get second place points for that. Right. And like fourth place, I'm not like really losing MMR for fourth, which to me is like crazy. I'm like,
That's
I know, but like, I'm so used to fourth minus 30, like or minus like 20. So it's just like eighth is like seventh. 100. It's not it's not like 140. So it makes like the bad streaks not as like crazy bad, and like the win streaks like good. Like if I lost 4 8s, like at the end of the last season, that would take me like 2 days of good play or something just to get back there. I couldn't like just wake up and then get it back the same. Like that's not really feasible. So. It's definitely broken being very behind, I would say.
I wouldn't call it broken, but it's a different experience, yeah.
It's broken to me. Dude.
That's why everybody does it, Collins. Like, it's broken.
I see what you're saying, but like I feel like I'm cheating, in terms of like the MMR gains. Yeah. So.
It feels like your account is bugged. And
it does.
20 points.
Yeah. But I know it's gonna stop, and if I want to climb, I need to be more consistent. But that's how I feel. There you go. Here's your in-depth answer. I feel like people don't actually want the in-depth answer. Like they say, I'm doing good.
Our podcast, Collins, so we do whatever the hell we want. Yeah.
I'm not talking about you. You've dealt with me. You know my personality. You're like, here you go.
Yeah, I do feel you, right. The auto reply is always like, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah. There's no deviating from that.
You don't really care how I feel, so here's the standard.
Yeah, you're saying this because it's words that we need to get out of the way in order to start our conversation.
Now that we've done that, and I've said multiple words. We can move on to our first topic. I guess is the weekly overview, which is what we talked about. Oh no, we haven't really. How's your week? In terms of
good. I'm just really enjoying the meta. So been playing a lot and just making some crazy boards and just weird games. Like earlier today, I had a Queen Azshara game where I took Anima Bribe, and my whole board was 1 giant trickster and 2 Tarragosas. So I couldn't miss. And it was a no Murloc lobby, obviously, right? And that was just so much fun. And then at the end of the game, I was up against a really big mech comp, just like Buster and shit. So I tripled the Tarragosa against the Ghost, farmed the Trickster onto the Golden Tarragosa, sold my 500 health Tarragosa to buff a Myrmidon, and then I had a 1000 health Myrmidon versus the mech player. So I just won with 1 unit. Like I filled the board, right, with like just in case it would Leroy or whatever, and I played a Zap, but they didn't have anything, so I could have just ran the 1 Myrmidon and won the game. And there's just some really funky stuff you can do with quests. So yeah, a lot of fun games.
Yeah. So yesterday when I was thinking about this question, as I do, right before I was like, I'm gonna say I hate this patch. But I'm not gonna deviate. I'm actually gonna say I don't like the patch, but I also know it has nothing to do with the patch. And I've said this before. I'm very results driven in terms of how I enjoy the game. So I do think that this patch isn't like. There's one thing about the patch I will say that is probably not my style, is that you can give up on first place on turn 4, right? Like you can see your quest and be like, okay, look at everyone else's quest and be like, oh well, I'm probably not winning this game. And I don't like that. That is something I actually don't like. The notion of like not being able to say, oh, let's go for the win from any game, from pretty much every game, like like the problem.
This is where please.
The problem I had before is like that happened at Hero Select in other metas, right? And now it's not. I wouldn't say it's Hero Select. I would say maybe heroes are like not even like the most important.
It might be at an all-time irrelevant, which
with the armor system.
It's still fun, right? To be able to pick your hero and to pick a hero that goes well with the types that are banned, etc. But yeah, just
because quests have become the heroes essentially.
It's the second hero power, in a lot of cases, it's the more dominant thing. Right? Sometimes, like a Gallywix, a Millhouse, right? You're still going to be dominant with your hero power, but other heroes, your quest is the dominant factor in determining your strategy.
Yeah, and I'm not the biggest fan of being like, this guy's got like Wisdom Ball, Putrefy, that kind of stuff. I guess he's gonna win, or he's going for Leapers. Though you can counter that, but like there are some compositions where you're just like, I can't beat that.
I don't really see too many like problematic quests on my opponents where they survive. So
well, maybe you don't have Lobby Legends players in every lobby that you play, Shady.
Well, that's the thing. If you have Lobby Legends players, don't they just kill each other?
They kill me. I'm the weak one in this match right
You're the sucker.
I'm the sucker, yeah.
Okay. No. I mean, no, it might be an early difference thing in lobby strength, but I haven't really been suffering too much where I'm like, oh, these people have too strong quests. I will say that you do have that feeling on turn 4 where you're like, okay, it's going to be that kind of game or it's going to be this kind of game. But I still win some of those games.
Yeah, I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you can't win.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like.
But you have to do it by scamming, right? You have to already know like, oh, I'm probably making poisons or I'm probably doing, Omega Buster shit or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, I'm saying that I probably don't like the meta due to my results right now. But if I were to give like, oh, this thing, like a real tangible thing of like, oh, this I don't like, it'd be that. But I don't think it matters, or I don't think it's that important per se. And I think if I was like winning more, I would just be like, oh, this meta is great. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't trust my opinion when it comes to liking a meta at all.
Well, what I can see is that if you do low roll your quest on turn 4, you're going to have to play in a way that you don't like, because a lot of the time you just want to be strong and make stats and be the guy people have to scam. And given some games the way how the quests roll out on turn 4,
you're like forced to be the scammer.
Yeah, a good portion of those games, you will not be the bigger person. Like, you will not be the large board. You will be the one that has to scam with poison.
Yeah, not my strategy or my style. And you can see like in the results and everything. Like,
Collins, I need to show you a screenshot. Like, we can keep going, right?
You gotta show me a screenshot. If you show it on Discord, the problem is if I look at it, you lose the camera for a bit.
That's fine. I'll just put it in chat or whatever. That's
so you're
like basically I got a first place with just poison, divine shield, murlocs with mirror shield, but I had a parrot and a golden selfless, and the parrot I gave it wind fury with a naga, and it was so funny. It just kept reshielding itself, and I scammed so hard. Like, I really shouldn't have won that game, and because the parrot just kept attacking and reshielding, right? Because like a poison attacked and then lost the shield, and then the parrot attacks and reshields itself and the poison, etc. Yeah, nasty. Hey Pocky.
Hey Pocky. He does qualify as a special guest, not really. That's what I'm saying. But generally, I mean, my week has been. My week, honestly, I can't say that I've been scammed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's honest to say, oh, I've been unlucky this week, and like that's why like I haven't really moved at all. I just think like, I guess my biggest weakness, I would say, for this particular patch is just the consistency. It's not, I wouldn't say like I'm bad per se. Like, I don't think that's honest or fair, but I have those. It's easier for me to have like a bad series of games or like a downswing or like objective mistakes where like, oh, this isn't the direction you should be going here, Collins, or this isn't the quest you should be picking, or these aren't like the minions you should be buying with this quest. Like, I think there's too many of those, and also when I mess up very badly in terms of like, if I mess up, I'm getting like 8th or 7th. I'm not like messing up and like recovering to a 4th, or like messing up, recovering, like still top 3. When I'm messing up, I'm just like, this was wrong, and then I'm not recovering. Someone high rolled or got a decent board, and then I'm 8th. You know, that's happening way too often, and I need to make better decisions on those situations, essentially. Like, because if you give me what I want or what I need, or like, you know, the right quest, like, yeah, I could win. It's not too hard. But on those like games where either I'm not comfortable or I don't have like the right options, or the quests are awkward or some stuff like that, I'm not really full embracing it, I guess, and like being like, okay, let me just do what I need to do to survive another turn, and do that every turn. You know, scrap. Like Lobby Legends, I did that. You know, those third games, I really did scrap like that. But like, I guess maybe on ladder, when it doesn't feel like, I always feel like, oh, I could win.
Yeah, I shouldn't be scrapping yet. I should be getting the 2 Atissas here and dominate. I shouldn't scrap here.
Yeah. I'm not scrapping enough, and
yeah, I'd say try that. To be fair, like, of course,
I am keeping that in mind more now. Like, after the 4 losses, I was like,
it's a bit humbling. Like, okay, maybe I should fight. Maybe I should fight.
I have literally never had that before, so I was like, okay, maybe I need to do something different. But you know, I still like, it's definitely not autopilot, and it's definitely something I have to consciously be aware of when I'm playing more. So it is what it is, right? I will get better, hopefully, or I will stop playing. You know, like, or Shady will co-op every day.
Every day. No, Shady, you can't go to bed yet. Yeah. Play more. Come on.
So, you know, one or the other.
You'll get it in no time, man. I think like, for you, it might be difficult even because you're like such a strong player when the game is like more normal, where I have no difficulty turning that, mode off where I'm like, okay, I gotta go first. I gotta get the Dark Gaze. I gotta get the Tender. I gotta get the Atissa, right? Where I am much more comfortable just saying, I'll play some Deflectos, or I'll buy the earlier Leroy, or I'll just try to triple into a Queen and just make my board
You
strong.
don't mind not winning every game. I would say that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Where I do mind. It's a very
that is tough. If you have to overcome people having a nutty quest and surviving, like you just can't make up for that difference in a lot of games.
Yeah, I know. I'm slowly learning. Yes, I hear you. But yeah. Anyway, speaking of all that nonsense, we did have a Lobby Legends qualifier over the week, I believe, and this was very surprising to me because I actually did make it. I actually did get through the first section and the second section. I actually did make it, and I thought it was so weird because this was maybe the least confident of a qualifier I've been since the qualifiers. This is maybe the least confident I've been. So I really wasn't expecting to make it through. Like I wouldn't say I expect to make it through, but I at least have a notion like, oh yeah, I could do it. And I really didn't have that this one.
Sure.
It was more like I'll play my 3 games and then I'll leave. that was my mentality. And then like the third game, I was like, oh, I need a scrap to win, or I need a top 2, and that happened. That was and then after the 3 games, I was like, oh, I did qualify. Okay, well, I guess I need to play 3 more games and then leave. Like I really wasn't in there. It was really the 6th game where I was like, oh, I need to win this one to make it through, because the second lobby, after the 2 games, there were 5 people tied for 5th, or 4 people tied for 5th, essentially. Mm-hmm. So I needed to beat 4 other players, or I need to place higher than 4 other players in order to make it through. So I basically, that was in my head, I need a win, right? Because if I place second and the guy in first is one of those 4 players, then I don't make it in, right? So I was just thinking the likelihood that happens is high, so I just need a win. And if I win, then I probably make it in. So that was my goal. I got second, but fortunately the guy in first actually was lower than me. He wasn't one of the 5 people. He was actually lower than me. But because he got in first, he made it through too. So he actually got through by beating me. If I beat him, he would. I think that was Sleepy. If Sleepy didn't beat me and got first, he wouldn't have made it. So he did exactly what I needed. I also did exactly what I needed.
Yeah, it's funny because you don't know who you're fighting.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah.
So yeah, you guys are like, oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I was like, at first I was like, oh, did I just throw it? Like I didn't win, and then I was like, oh, it's not one of the 4.
Wasn't one of those 4. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I did make it in, and then we do have the list of 16 Al Temu, which Grandmaster, ex-Grandmaster, I guess. Like, so kind of cool to see him just jump from constructed to BGs and make it in, and then also make it to Lobby Legends, right? So makes top 16 and then makes the qualifier. So that's like really impressive.
But is this the first? Like, do you know if this is the first time he's trying, or just in general?
It's not the first time, but I think it's the first time he made the qualifier.
Impressive nonetheless, right?
Yeah,
Definitely don't want to take anything away from him. Yeah, that'd be just very epic, right? Like first month, he's like, oh yeah, top 16, first qualifier. Okay, I'm through. Let's go.
No, because he's been trying. He's been playing for a couple months. Because I've seen him, I've watched him a bit. So
yeah, like I said, impressive nonetheless.
Yeah, but yeah, I still think it's very impressive. Then Sisese, Shirosa, Rimgosu, Rupi Titi.
Just want to say, like, say, and Rimgosu again, right? Like,
yes,
yeah, especially say. What a beast, dude! Like that guy is just there. He just lives in Lobby Legends, right?
there are some beasts. XQN also lives in Lobby Legends now. He missed the first two. He's made the last 4.
He's been pushing through, right? Yeah, he's had some heartbreaking games in his determining qualification rounds. So I'm happy that he's obviously an amazing player. So it's great that he gets to represent the region.
Yep. Then we have Penguin-san, Rogojin, or Jin, I don't know.
Yeah, Rogojin, I think is one.
Yeah. And we've got me, Educated, Sleep AHS, Matsuri, and then Beater, Babbitt as well. And then we have the 4 from China, East Leaf, HOS, Lightning, and I cannot pronounce the 4th
HOF,
guy.
right?
Huh?
But yeah. HOF, right? Hoff,
Yeah.
you said Hoff or HOS, yeah.
Yeah, and then the 4th guy's letters are Chinese. I don't read it. I could figure it out, but I'm not a caster, so
not our job. Yeah,
not my job. Yeah, we've got 5 from Asia Pacific. We've got 3 from Europe, and then 4 from. And though Matsuri is from Japan, so you could say 6 from Asia
honorary
Pacific.
NA,
yeah, honorary NA. If he wins, it's like NA baby.
yeah, of course. It's already NA baby. Come on, man. Let's stop 16. Otherwise, you guys only have 3, right? It's 3 from you, 3. I know. Now you can say 4 from NA Shady and only 3 from you.
But if we're being fair, it's 6 from Asia Pacific. Japan has 5 people alone. Right.
Took a while in BGs, but it seems like the general trend here is displaying itself where we're being owned by the Koreans, just Asians in general.
Yeah, I mean, someone needs to put a stop to it. Kofi.
Yeah. Well, don't worry, I'm coming. Just give me another 3 months or so. By the time I get another qualifier to go through.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, already making it, I think, is a victory. I don't want to put any pressure on me this time because, the first time I was in, I was like, oh, yeah, I can do it. But now I understand how tough the opponents are, how hard it actually is. So I'm not gonna be down. Just making it in is already a big accomplishment for myself. So I'm pretty happy about it. But we'll do what we can. I'm not saying I'm not gonna try. I'll practice and see where we can and see where that takes us. But that's about it there. Hopefully it's fun. Hopefully I win. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm gonna be rooting for Collins for sure. If it's an okay time frame for me, I can even watch it live and restream it if
I'll
just call it the official Collins cheering broadcaster.
It's fun. I want to do that too.
That's my title, official Collins cheering podcast. Only Collins fans match. Yeah.
I'm down.
Okay.
Moving on. Next topic. We do have what do I have? What do I put? The leaderboards. Oh yeah. So Blizzard decided to do something different this season and put every single participating player, I believe, right? Because it's not it. Do you need more than 0 MMR? Are there 0 MMRs at the end?
I think there are 0 MMRs.
So you just have to exist.
People that played and got an 8th, they're on there.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, I'm down with that. Okay, you just have to play a game. But what's your thoughts on this?
Overall, great in that it's something that people have been asking for a while, and that's just fun, right? If there's a top 200, but it's still fun to see where you stack up. And this is also a question that I don't know if it happens a lot in your stream, but people ask "Hey, I have X MMR. Is it good?" ?
Yeah, I do.
And it's just I can't, I can't really judge that, right? Is it good? Yes or no? But now you can say, hey, this is where you stack up compared to all the other players.
See,
So
that's not the answer I give him. I'd say as long as you're trying to learn, as long as you're committed to getting better, you're trying to improve, like that's good. The number is irrelevant. MMR is whatever. Unless you're competing for like Lobby Legends, it doesn't really matter. What really matters is the mindset. The mindset to grow, get stronger, be a better player. That will take you far, you know. So that's the answer I give him. Might be a little bit of bullshit, but there's some truth in there probably.
I guess it's the answer they need, but not the one they want.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, sometimes they keep pushing after that answer, and I'm just like, yeah, like if you're above like 6K or 8K, like,
you just go complete savage, right? If it's end of the season, it's like if it's not over 13K, don't bother. Right?
Yeah, that's not who I am as a person.
Complete savage.
That's not an answer. I think I would be.
What I think a lot of the time is when people ask that question, they're looking for a little praise. They're like, hey. Like especially the like, hey, I've only been playing for half an hour and I'm already like 8K. Is that good, right? Like obviously I'm over exaggerating here, right? But people do that and they kind of expect you to say like, wow, that's amazing. You've only been playing for 2 weeks and you have such a high MMR number. That is so great. So but yeah, I don't like that, right? I like when people are fishing for that. Like, tell me I'm doing well.
I think it's fine. Right? So we all need some compliments in our life. I'm okay with pandering their ego. Good job, dude. Like, well done. You can re-record it and play that again. That was a great. That was great positioning. I don't know.
Like Collins merch, where it's just some box that you can click. Like, wow, what a monster!
What a monster!
You're doing great. Yeah. That was some sweet positioning, man. Like, just hit that a few times after your game.
You'd love to see it. Yeah.
All right. $1 million idea.
But yeah, so I also kind of agree with you. I like that they added it. I just think it's like not well done, you know. Like I don't want them to hear this and be like, I wish I added it. Like I like that it's there, but it's just like you can't even use it really. Like you can just see like the people at the end and like the people in the front. You're not really gonna scroll. Like I looked at the EU. There's how many pages? There's like 38,000 pages. 38,000 like you're.
I can guarantee you, Collins, that a good amount of people have kept looking until they hit their name. Because it's also it's not like you have to go through all those pages, right? You can
you can like skip by like 7 or 5 or whatever.
And even more, there's the URL in the browser that you can
see. Now that's using your noggin, shit. That's using your noggin. There, I would have clicked. You see, I would have just clicked.
20 minutes later,
well, fortunately, I know I'm just clicking like 1 or 0.
Yeah. Like if we're clicking more than twice, that's a problem. Right? So. Yeah, but that's So for anyone who hasn't figured that out yet, you can manipulate the URL and just edit the number there to make bigger jumps. But yeah, I don't want it to be the okay, you've added thing that we wanted, but now I'm gonna like find something else to complain about. It's not good because this. But yeah, I mean, obviously
that's me. I'll do that.
Yeah,
don't worry.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine to do that, but. I think it is also important to not just have that barrage of
for sure.
It's only bad because you added this, but it's not good enough, right? But yeah, I would hope that that's in the works where they have a little search bar where you can just enter your name. And
you reminded me of another topic that I maybe wanted to talk about. But
let's go.
No. But I mean, I don't know if I want to talk about it.
Mull it over. Think about it.
You have Discord on your phone again? I could send it to you.
Yeah, but I can use Discord on my PC.
You're right. You're not trapped by the.
I'm not trapped. I'm free, baby.
Yeah. But regarding what you're saying about like bashing them after they add a new function, like I agree, but I'm also on the other side of like, just because you add something doesn't mean I can't like say, why is it like this? Like, this is weird. There's no search function. Why can't I search my name? You know, like it seems obviously it's probably because like they haven't done the coding and whatnot, but it'd be nice. Like I don't want to scroll through 38,000 pages to find my name if I'm like in the middle of it. Like I'm not doing that. So
I think that's fair and honest criticism, right? And as long as it's like in a nice way, I think that's totally fine. So. All right. You want to go to the next topic?
Yes, I will. I was just typing you something. Next topic, what we got? I believe we have armor tiers. Oh yeah. So Pocky did the honest and gruesome work. I think it's gruesome to figure out what the armor tiers are for pretty much. Oh, that's crazy. For pretty much every hero, and I think first of all, why does he have to do this? Like, why is this not like in the game or something, or like like in the website or something? Like I don't know how you figure this out unless you like go back, track the armor tiers, and like update it every time they change one. You know what I mean?
I think it's just patch note to patch note that you just go like, okay, let's just edit it, and then you end like you make sure you're up to date with the last one. So what we're talking about right now, guys, just for listeners, right? It's a list of all the heroes and which armor tier they have, because when a hero is offered to you and it has a certain amount of armor, there is certain overlap between tiers. So for instance, a hero that is in armor tier 2 has a roll that will roll 2 to 5 armor. But a hero that is in armor tier 5 can roll 5 as its lowest tier.
Yeah.
So a tier 5 hero can appear to have as much armor as a tier 2 hero. Now, the difference is that the difficulty of the quests is determined by the armor tier, not the amount of armor that is displayed. So it is very relevant if you have two heroes that look about as good and they have about as much armor, you are going to want to go with the one that has the higher armor tier. In this case, the hero that has 5 armor, but that is also armor tier 5. So yeah, go ahead.
I picked Tavish.
How'd it go?
I won. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, because
it's true.
It ruins everything about picking heroes. Like, I was like, no, I won. No, I won. Because if I don't win, then I'm like, well, it didn't really matter what armor tier I picked. But I picked it and I was like, oh, this was like super easy to proc this like pretty strong quest. And I was like, oh, well, my hero judgment is like out the window. I have to change every. I'm just like you. I didn't realize that actually. In terms of the thing we were talking about, I didn't realize I was also just like you. But yeah, bit weird. But in terms of like the armor tier, I do think like no one's done this before. Because it didn't really matter. I would say like it mattered a little bit, but
they have published a list themselves like way back.
Initially.
Right? So, yeah. Well, maybe not even initially, I think. Well, maybe it was initially, but I feel like I've seen whatever. So initially there
was like a big update where they changed a lot of armors, and then there were a lot of heroes in that, so it kind of felt like it overarching, but I don't think they've ever like republished the list.
And wasn't that relevant up until now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We just needed to see the amount. Like, it didn't matter. Like, if something... Because I know what hero I want to play, and then you tell me which one has more HP, sure, that might affect my decision. But now, it's really important if one hero is going to get a significantly easier quest over another hero, even if they are displaying the same amount of armor. So that is a big deal. And I've been using this list, right, as a little bit of a guide where if I'm not sure which one is actually lower, but it's still a little bit of a pain because you only have X amount of seconds at the start and you have to, like browse through this, and it's not super easy to search. But it's obviously not Pocky's job to do this. So I'm already happy that I have the list.
Yeah.
But it's a, this this should be a resource from Blizzards, because it's so important right now to know the armor tier of your hero.
Yeah, I just think it's very like awkward that that they don't tell you when they like what the old armor tier was, what the new armor tier was, right? They kind of tell you like it I'm sure this took work, like a non-negligible amount of work to go through every patch since armor came out and then update and then check which armor changes and readjust. And you only know this the number of people who have this data is probably like not that high, right? Just the people that follow Pocky or following like a streamer that has it or so. So it's not even like common knowledge or something you can easily access. And it's just weird because it's so important in this meta to know the armor tiers, and it's like hard to find. You can't find it anywhere except this one source. So I just thought that was I thought it was wrong. I was like, why don't we have this? But it's just weird to me.
I think if you're going to make armor tiers a really relevant part of your mechanic, then yes, that should be public knowledge. For sure. Well, I mean, technically it is public knowledge. It's just that it's out there, right? Patch notes scrambled. You can't, you'd have to go over all the patch notes and, like backtrack and see where everything is.
Yeah, so
there's no easy resource available to look at armor tiers right now.
Like, funny question, is there any armor tier that you look at and is like weird? Like, now that you've played and stuff, it's kind of weird, right? Because like some bad heroes or some good heroes are like in weird armor tier slots, and you're like, this
is like I know that they listen to the podcast, and I don't mention some heroes because I like them and I don't want them removed.
I see. You're learning. Good. I like this answer from you, Shady. I actually love this answer because it means that you have a conscience. Because sometimes I'm talking to you and you're like, oh, just give him all the information. This secret new tech I figured out. I'll just tell him. And I'm just like, Shady, don't you want to climb? Don't you want to learn it? Like, don't you want to like abuse it before they figure it out?
There's one hero that I'm practically certain that it's not in the right armor tier.
Yeah, keep it to yourself. Let me know though. But unless is it the one I already know?
It's the one you know.
Okay, yeah. Then keep it to yourself.
To give you some perspective, right? Like I've won Maleficent Mana Storm games as well. I've won a Cthulhu game or got second there. I kind of remember where I never hero powered. So it can backfire for sure. Where you pick, I picked the Queen Wactoggle earlier, and it was like, oh, all these quests are garbage. Shit, I don't have a hero power or a quest now. I'm screwed. So that happens sometimes. But if you don't love the
options,
if you don't love the lower armor hero, then you can very easily, like, it's now an option to take Maleficent Mana Storm. Whereas before, I would just like, no, you never. Why would you ever have a selection of 4 heroes where you would take Maleficent Mana Storm? Even a selection of 2 heroes. Where would you take Millie, right? Like, when would you take a Millie? Like, this is ridiculous. But now, sometimes you just want the pile of armor and the easy quest. And like that it's really cool that we're at that stage now where I'm getting that buddy feeling where I will pretty much never have a pack of unplayable heroes, which is fun because like the big armor heroes, they do something now, right? They may give you an easy quest.
And I'm still in last meta where I'm picking like 0 armor heroes left and right, and Shitty's just looking at me and judging me, I bet. Why are you picking this?
I picked 0 armor.
Yeah, I know. But like there's probably some options where it's like, Collins, take the 10 armor hero. Like
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I've played 0 reforms this game.
I've played so much reform. Probably my most played.
I played 0 reforms. I just can't see myself wanting to reform curve. Right?
Honestly, I'm doing decent reform, to be fair. Like,
great. Like, and I guess depending on the quest you roll, if it's spend money or if it's have minions die, sure. I just think that he's if you're reform curving, you're limited to some quests where some requirements are going to be hell, right?
Yeah, like the buying minions or playing minions, right? It's like so hard.
It's so difficult.
Yeah.
Well, you reform. On the other hand, you do steal a minion, right? But then you have to get lucky.
Yeah, but you have to hit the specific type, right? It's not in your hands, and you're not buying minions every level, so you're kind of like waiting, I guess, to until you like you're good enough, and then you do what? Yeah, I've played 6 reform games this patch, this current patch, so it's like this week, I guess. Yeah, so it's quite a lot.
We can talk about some cool heroes, I guess, though, right?
Sure.
Just as a bit of an offset to me not talking about my favorite one. So I've been doing pretty well with some of the like more obscure heroes, like Queen Azshara, that you would normally not pick, but she's in armor tier 5. So
Queen Azshara has secret sin stones, so
she can roll sin stone.
So
yes.
I mean, I wouldn't call any hero with secret sin stone. I wouldn't.
Well, I didn't roll it in any of the games I was doing well, but like even one game where my quest was alter ego or so, and I barely ever used it. I won that game because I was able to get a good start, and then I actually had a really solid hero power when I got going. And it does feel right now that if you have a hero power that can really win the game, and you have a really good tempo start, that's good enough. Whereas before, you would have that, but then people would have already tripled into Dark Gaze Elders and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of where people ramp up slightly slower because they're still filling out, they're still completing their quest. When you are just like making your board high attacking, you're not getting punished so much for it. So like Queen Azshara has felt good. Let's see.
My Queen Azshara games have been bad, but all my games have been bad. So let's be real.
Zephy has felt pretty good as well.
Like, yeah, I like Zephy though, just generally.
Armor tier 4. I think Kurt is like, Kurt was like armor tier 6 or something.
Never touched that here.
Oh man, that's so many free Kurt games are like this is. But yeah, you can really see that the meta is like mid-rangey brawly.
Yeah, it's not for me.
I was like, oh, Kurt is so good at this meta. Like, I'd never lose early. Let's go. Right? I can do anything I want. So yeah, I had a lot of really good Kurt games. What else is in here? I had a good Ozumat game as well. That's obviously a sample size of 1, but just a little bit of tempo earlier, an extra minion to feed for your minion kill quest. I'm not sure if the tentacle counts as a summon, but it might. So could help completing the summon quest. Yogg is another hero that just like fits. I know I don't have to convince you on Yogg, right? He's armor tier 3. Yeah, he's armor tier 3, so he's okay for the quest, and he's also just robust, strong. You're not going to lose health early, and then you can just do whatever. So yeah, it's really in that region, like those heroes that have armor and that win fights early, because that's kind of a double whammy. You have extra health, and then you keep that extra health because you're strong, and then your quest is easy. So that's a lot of advantages you have over, say, a Captain Hooktusk, who is just like very difficult quest, 0 armor, make it work. Right? That's like that's tough, right? Like you got 40 health, your quest is really tough, and you have to, use your hero power to somehow make up for all of that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've been picking a lot of 0 armor heroes, and I wouldn't say like that's necessarily been working out for me. So I definitely think you're onto something with leaning.
Yeah, I think it's also just like a very. I think it's a common take right now. I don't think it's a unique point there.
I've been I have tried the alternative strategy, Shady. I've done that work for you, and I can say I'm not the biggest fan of it. So.
I will say that I like that they made Silas 0 armor again, because after the last hotfix, I looked at that and I'm like, oh man, Silas with armor, that's nutty, right? Because he can get Sinstone, and Silas really wants to buy and sell minions anyway, so he's good at completing the quest, and like the ticket counts as adding a card to your hand.
I've never liked Silas.
All right.
I'm a Silas hater.
I can see that trend, right? Where you don't like Kurt, you don't like Silas.
Dude,
like
the problem with Silas, I get screwed over by the token. Like so many games, I've like leveled. Oh, let me get to nothing, and I've like rolled and like got nothing again, and I'm just like.
You can also do some tier 2 Silas, right? You don't have to 3-on-3.
No. I am going tier 2 and getting nothing.
You're not getting.
I'm just like. Silas hates me, or Bob with Silas, they don't like me. So I too many games of that. Like I'm scarred, shady.
So you've learned. You just stay away from that.
Yeah.
A zero armor hero I've done well with is Panda.
Yeah, Panda's actually pretty good. Yeah, I played Panda. I was like, oh, okay.
Fun Panda games.
Also, Murloc Holmes is still good. That one I'm down with.
Yeah. Oh, one that we should talk about is Flurg. Like that one, even though it's like
I haven't played Flurg, so I don't have an opinion.
So we were both in the same boat where we were just like, it's probably good, but I don't know how, so I'll let someone figure it out and then I'll play it.
Yeah.
So I was told XQN touched Flurg, and I was like, all right, well, let's see what he did. And I just watched this game on YouTube and was like, took some notes and be like, all right, that's how you play Flurg. And I've played a lot of Flurg games since then, and they've all gone well. So it's essentially
sounds like an XQN YouTube advertisement. I'm just gonna be
honest. I mean, the guy is very, very good at the game, so absolutely go give him a follow. There you go. Okay. I think it's actually just called XQN on YouTube, so just search for XQN. And the the way how XQN approached it, and that's probably not the only way, but that seems to be a pretty good way if you're going to go with a way, is to stay on tier 2 a bit longer and play it like an Arana during the buddy meta. So Arana during the buddy meta, she was looking for Swamp Striker and she was looking for Honcho. And then you just play those, you cycle Tads, you cycle other Murlocs, and you buff the board very easily, because Arana would get free rerolls due to the buddy. Flurg gets free Murlocs due to the hero power. So if you're cycling,
do you want Murloc LEs?
You don't even need to do like Elemental stuff, in my experience, but it's obviously fine, right? Like Elemental helps. But what I've been doing is I've been staying on tier 2 until I have at least 2 Honchos. And then,
not 2 golden Honchos, just 2 Honchos.
Well, it depends a little bit on, if I keep getting good Murlocs, sure. But then sometimes I get a triple and then I want to take a 4-drop because then I might get Primal Fin or Toxfin. So the weakness of this build used to be that you had a lot of very healthy Murlocs, but in order to get poison, you would have to triple into a Sephon and then get like an Icky Imp or so and to proc the Sephon. Now you just go to 4 and you farm Toxfins. So the way how the build works is you get 4 very strong Murlocs. Usually it'll be 2 golden Swamp Strikers, 2 golden Honchos. You cycle a ton of Murlocs, because the goal is to get to tier 4, because on tier 4 there is Toxfin and there is Primal Fin. So those are amazing units to get. And because you have probably by that point, like mid-game, 2 golden Honchos, you're gaining a ton of health on your board. And then your board's going to be Blaster, Golden Selfless Baron, 4 large Murlocs, all with poison due to Toxfin. And that is an incredible endgame board.
How are you cycling? Because you have to sell 4 Murlocs. I guess 3 Murlocs.
Yeah, so once you've done, it's kind of like Onyxia, right? Once you've done the first one, it's only 3. So a Tad is absolutely insane. Elemental is still good. Primal Fin is absolutely insane. And you start off with some units as well at the start. So you can sell those. So kind of like old Flurg, where you would sell and put them in the shop. So it takes a little bit to get going, and you need to see it and feel it. And then you're like, oh, this is fine. Because the Murloc you get in your hand sometimes just like, oh, I get an extra Honcho. Oh, that's really good. I wanted one anyway, and I didn't have to buy it. So while you do get the Murlocs less frequently, because it's once every 4, well, really 3, because you sell the one that you get potentially, you do get to keep it. It's not in the shop. You don't have to pay for it. So it is really
you're kind
nice.
of getting 3 gold back.
Yeah. So it just works. That's the thing. You need to feel it. You need to see it, but
I
it
haven't
works.
played Fergal, so
yeah. So I think the ideal scenario is probably no mech, no beast, where you don't get tempoed.
That's the Murloc thing.
That's
like
the Murloc way, right? But I've played it in any lobby. Like I was not afraid. I was like, fuck it, I'll just run a blaster. It's fine.
Okay.
So I've not been shying away from it when mechs are in.
Yeah. Fair enough. I haven't tried it, so I'll probably try it. I will try it because the other hero you suggested, I tried it and I'm like, oh, Shady's onto something. It's good, right? It was good. Yeah, I was like, oh, this
that's for next week, guys. Next week I reveal the
next week. I need the MMR before, we'll see what my MMR looks like next week. Well, and then we'll talk.
Maybe Collins will allow me to spill the secret.
But yeah, definitely some interesting heroes with this meta. Like the hero rating, I think has gone. Like I would be surprised to see accurate hero tier list, I guess. Right? Like if you include the armor system and like, oh, this actually makes this hero a lot. Like you can do it. I think you can do it, but it would be there would be very easy ways to get things wrong, I guess. Is maybe how.
So what you're saying right now is a hero tier list in like, oh, this is the best hero, but you take the armor into consideration, and then you'd have to also look at bans, or it's just blankets, whatever the best case scenario would be.
Usually it's I would usually say best case scenarios because it's hard to say, oh, don't pick Fergal, but not. Yeah.
That could be a fun exercise that we could just do, which probably helps our own gameplay a little bit.
Yeah, but after the season, let's not spoil everything. I need to climb Shady. So.
No, I mean we should probably just do that
on our own. Oh yeah. We could do it together.
I'm right now. I always I have to open the fucking armor tier list and be like, where is the thing? And let's at least it's sorted alphabetically, so I can just.
I'm down for that.
All right,
good. Sounds good.
All right, what else do we have on the menu here, Collins?
We have a throwback, or we have the thing we talked about. Which one do you do first?
We could talk about the battle pass. That's fine.
All right. Fine, we'll do that first.
You brought it up, right? Let's do it.
All right. So I wanted to kind of talk about the battle pass now that we've. It's been like how long since it's been out? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something less than 3 weeks, right?
When
like 2.5 weeks, because it came out like end of the month, right?
Yeah, on the 30th, I believe.
On the 30th, yeah. So it's a 16th, so like 17 days.
2.5 weeks is fair.
2.5 weeks, yeah. Right, and I first of all, I just want to talk about how do you feel about like the player base or any of those concerns? Like, any thoughts on that in particular?
Well, in terms of the situation as a whole, now that they're essentially charging money, right, to play the game, and still in my, I know that theoretically it's free to play, right, but practically speaking, they're charging money to play, right? You really don't want to play with 2 heroes.
It's pay to lose. Pay and you still lose.
You pay and you still lose. Yeah. What the fuck, man? I paid. Why am
I losing? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, you better deliver good product, essentially, right? That's sort of the feeling. And man, in terms of gameplay, it's really delivered. So I think at least that is not a complaint where it's like, okay, now we're paying money and it's a shit expansion, or there's a crap ton of stuff that doesn't work, this or that. Yeah, the first day or two we had that another hidden body quest.
Where is that quest? It's gone, right? They said they were just gonna fix the lag.
They need to speed it up, but they they talked about it to us as well, right? With like all the process it needs to go through. It's not just like, let me just speed it up. No, it needs to go past the graphical team, and it needs to go past like sound and shit and blah 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 blah. So it's hard to just say,
it's been a week, Blizzard. Where is my quest? Like,
where's my extra quest?
Yeah.
And probably also they need to like balance that shit.
I do think it's not balanced at all. Like, I agree.
I think that would like play 3 elementals is like bad shit.
It's so broken.
That is at a playable speed. It's going to be
omega strong. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so that needs to be balanced before it gets put back in. So as a whole, I would say right now I feel fine. Like it feels like it's settled down a little bit. The meta is just really, really fun. But subjective, of course. That's for me. But I feel like that sentiment is echoed with a lot of other players and streamers, where quests have really hit the nail on the head. So I think that mitigates a lot of it. Where obviously would have preferred the game to remain completely free to play, where that's an easier way to grow the player base, which is great for the player base and great for us as content creators, because more people playing the game, that's just better for our livelihoods as well. But at least the gameplay itself is really good in my opinion, so that definitely mitigates a lot of it, I would say.
Yeah, for me, I haven't really noticed like a huge downswing, I guess which was like my concern. So far, right? Obviously, things can change, patches can come out, and people don't like it. But like I still see a lot of the same players. Like that, the time to queue is not like significantly longer or any of those like drastic things that I was looking out to see. So like in terms of like the reaction, obviously there's like some people are not here, or some people are playing with 2 heroes and not paying for the pass, but at least they're still in the game or enjoying it enough to play even with 2 heroes, or just leaving if they don't like their heroes, blah blah blah. But yeah, I mean, there's still people around, and it's not been as drastic as it could have been in my head so far. So happy to see that, right? You never really know what the reaction of these things will be. Obviously, there's the initial reactions, and then there's like the reaction of your actions, I guess, right?
All right, you just mean like the overall consequence, like what's going to be the result after the smoke clears and like the pitchforks have been put down.
Yeah, what streamer is like switch the game completely, that kind of thing. And I'm not really seeing too many of those. Like you maybe have more like variety or something.
You even had like Tyler went to play some constructed, and I was like, I don't know if
the BGs too, but
I'm not sure if that was the plan. Maybe that was the plan, right? He's just like, I'm just gonna wait until the update, right? I'll just play some standard, but it could be like, hey, that quest shit looks pretty fun. Let me just play some of that,
Well, he does like playing other games, I would say. So
yeah, and he's very, very skilled, so he has no problem with like, oh, let me just go do really well in this other discipline and then come back and then still do really well in Battlegrounds. So yeah, that's not a factor.
You're listing exceptions here.
No, we were talking streamers, right? Just like Tyler was playing some constructed and is now back on the PG train.
Yeah, but that's not really what this conversation is about. I just thought, it's been 2 weeks. Let's talk about that. Sure. I want to talk about the battle pass specifically, because I was asking Shady. I was like, oh, I'm near completion, and you're like, I'm done. And I was like, wait, let me check. Oh wait, I'm done too. I didn't know I was done as well. And I think that is actually a bit crazy that you can already be done. Like already, you could just be done, because these battle passes are supposed to last 3 months, 4 months, right? Like till the next expansion. How can you be done in 2 weeks?
We do play a degenerate amount of hours, but I agree. It should be longer. That's what it definitely.
I think even if you played casually, you'd probably be like 3/4 of the way done. Like even a casual player that plays like
you would have to have a very
okay. How about like an hour a day, 2 hours a day?
Yeah, you would not be 3/4.
I like with the quests. I think if
well, no, that's a good point. Maybe quest wise, the quests do so much that daily play might be enough. Now I'll go back on that and say I don't know. It's very possible what you're saying is correct.
Yeah, and I just think like you can be done with this 3-4 month system in like less than a month, less than 3 months. If you're a heavy user like we are, in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
there's something a bit wrong with that.
Like and just that was such, I feel like such a simple. 1 second, Collins.
Okay. Achoo! I can hear it. I'll verbalize it for you.
Oh yeah, there we go. We don't want to let anyone understand. So, Blizzard knew this, right, when they launched it. It's that you should have something there to keep going when you're done. But I guess it just needed to be released right now, right? The season pass, we talked about it as well, where they're like, all right, we don't know what to put there, right? Like, I don't know. Like, even like gold, I guess, would just be a slap in the face, right?
There's no way. You actually cannot put gold, because that is the whole point of the system, because people are buying the passes for gold.
Exactly. But the fact that there's nothing, like you are done with your pass and you play and you are not earning anything anymore, I feel like that is just unacceptable. Like, come on. And I'm assuming that is going to get fixed, but that is just something that they,
how long will that take, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? Like probably the next edition at the earliest, right? I don't think it'll be fixed during this one.
And what would the fix even be, right? What would be a justifiable fix?
You can think about that, where I don't know if they can give out like some like skin fragments or whatever, where you can go buy a skin in the shop or so, like however small fraction of the skin you would earn, right? Just that the feeling that you're doing something, that you're earning something, but just something at the end there where I'm playing. Because however silly it was, when I was done with the actual reward track, right, of the overarching game, the one where you earn gold and packs and stuff, I liked seeing that 50 gold at the end. Really dumb, but I still liked seeing that 50 gold. And I'm a guy that sits on like 86,000 gold, right? So it's like, it doesn't matter for me, but it's still fun to see that you're earning something. So yeah, if it matters to someone who has so much resources, it doesn't matter. I'm sure it matters to a lot more people.
Yeah, it's not even the reward track. Like, that's not even like one of the main concerns. Another thing is just like what we were given, I guess, right? Because if you look through the actual like track itself, a lot of it was just like emotes, right? Like, a third of it was like emotes. There were like a couple hero skins, a couple legendary skins, and like there were 2 different strike lines. But the strike lines are kind of like weird. Okay, so it was a strike line, but they were separated in like different levels. So they like cheese three rewards with just 1 reward. You know what I mean?
I don't think that is bad though, because you're kind of working your way up to the legendary one where you have like the big finisher, right? When you have the last one.
How many times have you seen that finisher yourself?
Is it like the crystal beam? Like
yeah,
where
the
they
crystal
go?
beam. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it a few times today, so it feels like people are.
From you. No, I'm saying you. How many times have you done it? You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm going to be honest, Collins. I haven't collected it yet. Because I don't give a shit. I'm going to be honest.
Wait, you haven't unlocked any of your rewards?
I collected it now because we were talking about it.
Okay.
And I just clicked them.
You clicked,
but I buy it because I want my 4 heroes. And that doesn't mean that they did a bad job making any of it. I just don't give a shit about cosmetics. I want to play the game, right? You know, sometimes I'll be illogical about it, or inconsistent, I suppose is a better one. Sometimes I'll be like, screw it. I'll take the shiny skin or whatever. that's rare. That's very rare for me. So I just give me my 4 heroes. And I really, like that's for me, the Tavern Pass, it's a lot of fluff around my 4 heroes. So I buy the pass because I want my 4 heroes, period. And now that I've unlocked it, I'll play with the strike, I'll play with some skins, but it's not something I will almost never be the person that's sitting there like, like 3 more days and then I can have the beautiful strike. I'm like, no, I don't give a shit, man.
Hadn't even collected the strike. Bought the pass, clicked on the perks, threw it away, threw the rest of it away. Like, I don't want to play with you anymore. Just threw the rest of it away.
Yeah, man. It's like you open the pack of Pokemon cards and like I don't give a shit about the commons. Like the rare thing is like the 4 heroes and like just throw the commons away. I don't care. Don't need the commons. Just give me my 4 heroes.
I was clicking and like upgrading my hero skins and stuff like that, upgrading the strike. And, like I remember before I came in, I was like, I would pay for only the perks, right? But I got the pass, and at least I'm using the stuff. You're like, I don't even care. It's more Brutus than I am.
Well, this is 2 weeks in, right? So
Fair
I'll
enough.
have everything equipped now for the remainder 3 months or 3.5 months.
Right.
So it's fine, but yeah, it's just to give you the the feeling here, like it was not something that was on my mind. I was not be like, oh, let me just quickly unlock the final strike and have the shinier strike.
Yeah, but I mean, I do like the legendary skins. Like I do feel like that is like a decent reward. But the rest of the skins and stuff like that, like I don't really care too much. The legendary stuff, the legendary strikes, if you like the strikes, then I think they're pretty cool. I do like the crystal one. Like there's like a dark strike too. That one I don't really care for.
I've been using the crystal one.
Yeah, but
the lower version.
I like the lower version of the exactly that. I don't actually care about the beam. Yeah. I like the moving around ninja slash thing. Yeah, I'm with you there. But it does kind of feel like a lack of rewards, I guess, in terms of like the battle pass, especially.
Yeah, it's the battle pass. We talked about it before.
I know.
Where it's
I know,
fluff.
but like now that you've done it, I have to like criticize it. You know what I mean? Like now that you've went through with this, I can't be like, oh yeah, well it's the perks we care for. The battle pass itself, like, it's not important. It is like fundamentally important now that it's in the game. And like I don't want to go to the next reward track and it'd be just like this. Like I'd be very disappointed, essentially, right?
Right.
And if that's the case, then I have to talk about it, right? Because
you would want different kind of rewards or just more rewards?
I mean, both, right? Like I would say fundamentally more rewards with like something to last more than 2 weeks would be helpful, even as a heavy user. Like I don't feel like you can grind because you get 10 points a win, and I haven't been winning that much. Like obviously more than the average player, but like not like top 10 people in the game or people in NA, right? So there should be. It shouldn't be like even I'm done. Like I'm surprised I'm done. Like you being done, like I could see it because you've been playing for a while. But I'm surprised even I'm finished. And just like being done for the next 3.5 months, essentially, of no more content, no more cosmetics for me. It's like seems very sketchy. So I would like if there were more, but also like. Legendary skins I think is a good idea, but I think that should permeate into more things like legendary there is legendary strikes, but like legendary boards or whatever. Like also boards I should see my board more than just a fight. Like that feels like I don't even remember what my board is. Like that's how like not negligible it is.
I have the orb in the bottom right, or does everyone have that board right now?
No, like you can get the standard board or whatever, so it's not always the orb, right? But like I don't even remember what my board is. You know what I mean? That seems a bit Yeah, that seems a bit weird. It's not clickable or anything. So, I would love to have more like uniqueness to the skins and uniqueness to the boards and the strikes and stuff like that. The legendary strike is pretty cool. It's also weird that you can't like equip things from the pass itself, right? But I think that's something they're working on. So I'm not really not too worried about that. And there's also like no random option. You can't like swap your skins. You have to like manually switch it, and it's a whole process if you want to like switch your Reno skin to something else. Like it takes like 20 seconds to do that. And if you did that every single game you played Reno or every game, like it just takes forever. There's no like clean way to swap your skins. It's not like you can even like choose your skin from Hero Select or something like that, right? Because like that happens in League. Let's say you're playing League, and you wanna like you're playing Udyr or whatever, and you wanna play the nude Udyr skin, right? You can just click that, once you know you're playing Udyr. You can't really do that in BGs, which I do think is pretty weird, right? Because like maybe you don't always want to play one particular skin, right? It's not clean to swap your skins. This is like very different from the Battle Pass, but it's just like now that we're mentioning it, I'm like, oh, that would be nice. That would be pretty cool. So there are some functionalities. I do think like once again we're in like Unity coding, and I don't know how difficult that is to like add that whole thing in, and it also has to like go through iOS and Android, and like that in itself sounds like a nightmare. So I don't know if that's like even functionality worth the time, but it's weird that that's just like not feasible. You know what I mean? Like this isn't feasible. That also hurts to hear, especially now that we're paying, right? Like I would love for there to be like a little bit more like a little bit more cleanliness or like functionality in like the UI and stuff like that, just because it would be nice to be able to do stuff like that, switch the skins and whatnot. So but I mean the main gripe, 2 weeks in I'm done with the pass and I'm surprised. That's the main thing. I would
yeah.
You're not surprised, I guess. So you were just assuming this would happen.
Yeah.
I wasn't, I guess. Maybe I was too naive. But yeah, I'm done with the pass. But hopefully, I don't know. Like what would make me feel better about this? I don't know. Like maybe if they added more stuff. Like the next month, there's a whole new 40. I would be like, okay. If that's the trend, like you lock it at 40, and then next month there's another 40, and the next month there's another 40, and the next month there's another 40. So, but it's locked by the month, so you can't unlock all 160. Yeah. That would be interesting.
Well, the issue with that one is I feel like people who would play like truly casual would maybe feel like, oh, I need to play more to complete this month, because I want all of it, but
I don't want to play the month. I'm going to play it a month.
Well, not as much, like, because usually you'll have the good stuff at the end, right? Like in this case, the epic strike.
But if like the weekly quests are enough to like bump you up, maybe if you just do the weekly quests, you'll be able to complete like most of it. And like once you get to the last month, like it's not like you have to complete that month. Like it's just going to be a 160 reward track where you can like try to make up at the end if need be. I don't know.
Oh, so it wouldn't reset.
You're not resetting.
Unlock.
Yeah, okay. It's just getting longer and longer every month.
That's an idea. I don't, obviously I haven't really thought about it enough.
Yeah, I haven't thought. I'm spitballing here. I'm trying to say what would I be okay with?
For me, it's simply like something at the end that we earn. And I know that's obviously very useful to say, hey, just put something there, right? But I mean, that is
fragments is not like that horrible, because there's a lot of skins you can't unlock that are in the game that you just can't get. right? So if you had a way to get those through the skin fragments or whatever, then
Right. Yeah.
you could be like, oh yeah, this old skin that they had, like I can now get it. You know, like you can't get like Tiki Rag, the bartender. Like like if you want that, you can't get it. Like I would love, it's just weird that this skin is in, or this bartender's in the game, you just can't get it. It's like seems a little off. So having some option to be like, oh, we just farm at the end of the thing, and you can maybe unlock that, like, seems helpful. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind that idea per se if you go past the 40. I was just thinking, oh, what would I be more okay with, right? Than waiting 3.5 months of no content essentially after the beginning. It just seems horrible, I guess, to me.
Yeah, for me, it's really not as big of a deal, like I said,
It's
because
not
I just don't
important.
really
Yeah.
care.
Okay.
I don't care as much about the cosmetics, but I don't want to repeat myself too much. Just something at the end, so it feels like I'm still working towards something.
To be fair, I don't think we care that much. Like we're the competitive players, but like even us, like we feel it. Like what I mean. Like it's not like ignored. But yeah, like it if like okay, so let's say there was no there was just perks on alone, and we didn't have the battle pass. Would this conversation come up? I don't think it ever would. Like you know what I mean? Like we would never talk about the battle pass. But since it's part of like our requirement now, like now we talk about it essentially. So it is but we can move on. I'm kind of done with this topic. I'm ready for moving on.
I'm also done, but it's I think it's fair to just say like, hey, what gives? So
yeah, what gives? Yeah, I agree. And then the last thing, I believe Sun and Sado, not Sado, Soren, sorry, Sado. They retweeted this, and I thought it was an interesting throwback to like the meta, and I was like, oh, you know what? Let's talk about the old meta. Let's talk about like
the boomer back in my day.
Back in my day when I was still making these tier lists every patch because people wanted it. I did have this was like very early, and there's a lot different, right, from this particular one, right? Just like the first thing that jumps out for me is like just the number of heroes, I guess.
Yeah. This is just enough to offer everyone 3 heroes, I think, or what was it at the start?
Yeah, I think everyone had two heroes initially, and then you could get perks or perks were 3.
So was this 6?
Yeah, I think you're right. It was perks for 3.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 24. Right?
Yeah, 24, right? So yeah, so everyone just gets 3.
So every hero was always offered every game. You can see this was really the beginning.
And they really had some weird heroes. Like Bartender. What was Bartender's thing? I
think it was like shitty Omu, right? Like every turn, your tavern tier decreases by 1. Like
and the Gallywix. No, Gallywix was. I'm surprised Gallywix is not D. It was spend 1 gold to get a coin.
Yeah, Gallywix had no hero power.
Sometimes you get a coin. Like
you were floating a gold.
It was kind of okay because we were bad at the game right then, and you were like, "Oh, there's just this random coin here. Like, I mean, random gold. I don't know what to do with it. I guess I'll just make it a coin."
Be here, yeah, that's crazy.
And then I don't even remember Pyramad's thing. Putrefy was like your first minion gets 10 attack or something like that.
Yeah, like 8 extra or 10 extra, 8 or 10 attack.
It went up to 20. But it still didn't do anything.
Two shits, right? Yeah, not worth it.
I don't remember what whack toggles were. I don't remember any of the old hero powers, honestly. Apparently, the only hero that's never been changed at all is Yogg. Since the game started. Perfectly balanced RNG Yogg. Yeah. Every other hero has had some adjustments in some way. Which I think is pretty cool.
Curator used to be a 1/1 amalgam.
Yeah.
But AFK used to pull a 3 and a 4. Toki
Toki used to give you like it got nerfed.
You,
then,
you didn't lose the slots, right? When you were a
and then they got buffed and buffed again. But yeah, I mean, almost everything has been adjusted or removed, and it's just interesting. So in this like tier list, it's a tier list from like 2019.
this game came out. So just came out. So.
And you have Yogg and Daryl in S tier, which is like, to full disclosure, I made this list.
Fair list especially for how young the game was and how little experience you had, right? So
to be fair, like I do think back when I made it, I was like pretty confident with this list because I don't release things that I'm like this is.
But you can look back on that now and as a really experienced player.
Let's say it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we drop you in that meta, you're gonna like figure some stuff out. And it'd probably be something, honestly, what would happen is you would look at this and you would just look at, okay, which heroes give me the most time to do Khadgar shit? Because Alley Cat was in and
Murloc Tidehunter was in,
So, and we still had the old Khadgar ruling at the time. Sorry, my cat is saying hi. Dude. We had the old ruling where if you had no board space on the board for triples, that's fine. It'll just buffer and it'll
keep doing it.
You could have some.
It would be so like Omega troll to have a experienced player in the old meta. It always reminds me of like League. If you had like someone in this season go back to like season 1 or season 2 and play the game, it just looks like they're like breaking. They're like super Omega broken. They're better than bots or better than
the game. I genuinely believe that a player with like someone who was good at Khadgar transitions, right? Obviously, right? So someone who's very comfortable with Khadgar transitions. Like we dropped Saf, right? Saf is probably the go-to guy for Khadgar shit. We dropped Saf in like season 1 or like week 1. I would confidently say that 85% or more of his games would involve Khadgar transitions, just because it was so free.
And he'd win them all. Win them all. Yeah. Like
you just get a bunch of what was tier 6s back then? Because Cali wasn't in yet.
You would literally force the meta to you to like, this is just a meta. This one guy is forcing Khadgars. He's winning every game. He's like 2K, 20,000 MMR. I don't understand what he's doing, but let's look at it. Like, it just be so weird. Back then, there was no skins. There was no like really.
Life was simple.
Yeah, there was no battle pass.
Heroes could be removed because there was no skins.
Heroes could be removed. That's true.
That trash.
Imagine you still had to like keep Putrefire or something because you couldn't remove it because they had a skin. Like I know, like the logic there. It's a bit scuffed, but it is cool just like looking back. And I figured now's the time since someone made a throwback.
Oh, Rag used to have this like, what was it? Pay 2 gold.
Pay 2 gold, deal 8 to 2 minions at the beginning.
Right? Yeah. Because I'm seeing Rag here, and I'm thinking like, Rag was probably pretty good back to be like, that's a completely different hero.
Yeah, same thing with patches. It was pay a gold to deal 3.
Right. Yeah. But the 3 different minions, or what was it?
Two different minions. It was just like improved, or I thought it was better than Rag because Rag you have to pay 2 gold, but it's essentially the same as Rag.
Yeah, that was like really just tempo shit.
Yeah, and then Nefarian was the real like the king. Yeah. You pay 1 gold for 1 on everything. Proc all your divine shields. George was pay 4 for his shield. Yeah, can you imagine that?
Holy shit, man. I really like what they did with George. They were like, you know what? Let's make it 3. You know what? Let's make it 2.
You know what? Let's make it 1. Yeah, I'm down for that.
I didn't have to go to 1.
Well, I mean, now George feels really bad because of the mirror shield prize.
Yeah, George just feels a bit too
fair. Yeah. Too honest, dude. I do half a quest, and I pay 2 gold for it. You're paying nothing. You're getting +4 on it. Like it's a bit rough. I don't remember like all of the old hero powers, but yeah, they were fun. They were pretty interesting. Do I miss the old game? No, I don't miss the old game. But it's cool to look back and see how far we've come. That's what people like to say here. How far we've come. Whatever that means. I don't know. But yeah. I don't really have much more to say. I just thought.
No, I think we're done.
All right.
I'm sort of falling asleep here. I'm gonna be honest.
You have anything to talk about? Like last thing, anything to talk about heroes? You said you wanted to go through some heroes, but we kind of did that during the Pocky.
We went over it, but I can have a look if any. But no, I think I'll look on your screen here.
Sarah's the best. Well, I have it like kind of small.
I
could make it bigger if you like.
I guess what we could talk about is like Togrego. Have you played with Nerfed Togrego?
Yeah, I have.
And how did he feel to you?
Felt still pretty good. I mean, you watched me play. I was rolling for Eliza.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. But if you start with a token, it's fine. I think.
Feels more fair now, right? Where
it definitely feels more fair. You're not hero powering every single turn.
Yeah, you don't get those disgusting like boards super early. Yeah, so that's probably the only one I wanted to touch on.
It's crazy that you nerf it and it's like, it's still playable. It's still up there, like top 10, top 7, right? Like that just goes to show you how broken it was. Like, what was it doing? It lived like a month with no changes. I was just so shocked.
That was just a very, very unlikely.
Arana's third. I haven't looked at this. I actually don't think like heroes are like as relevant.
No,
at all. So I haven't looked at this at all. But Arana's third. I can't believe
it. She has a shit ton of armor. She has a shit ton of armor.
It's because of the armor.
She's the lowest tier, I think. She's got 10 armor.
Oh, okay. That makes sense because I look at this and I'm like, I don't get it. But what else? So what else jumps out to me besides that? I'm not the biggest Janice fan, but every time Janice in the lobby, I like groan and I'm like, shit, you would take it, and then I take it, and then I win, and I'm just like, oh well, I guess it's fine. Like I mean, that's how I feel every time I play Janice.
You can cheese quests with Janice, right? Where you can swap the minion that you have to buy back in the shop to buy it back.
Sure, I mean, that doesn't sound that fascinating.
Yeah, it's just a little bonus, right? Where let's say you have to play demons, you can like swap mind mark back in the shop.
What is Crag doing here? Like number 12? What?
Armor. I just don't think it matters.
This is shady. Yeah, I agree. I don't think these positionings matter too much. But yeah, it is interesting just looking. Nothing really jumps out to me particularly here. Yeah, because it's just quests, right? Like that's really the important factor. Like the heroes are relevant, but the quest really determines how you play.
Really, which minions are in and out, right? Like which minions are in and out, and then how comfortable are you?
Wow, the bottom I think is pretty surprising. You've got Master Wind, Kurtrus, you got Musnius, Brucon, and Phelan in the bottom 5 of the list.
Is there even enough data?
No, there's no. I don't think there's enough data.
No data. Okay. Yeah.
If we're like the ones with data is Galliwix, Eudora, which I can see, right? Because you don't buy minions with Eudora really if you're leveling like that.
Yeah, Galliwix feels weird. Where I think you got to be a really good player and then really confident, and then a really good lobby for Galley. And then
I played Galley, got 8th. Feels bad, but so I'm not a really good player. But I played Greybow in 1 as well.
Yeah.
It annoys me. It annoys me, dude. I was like, ooh, what hero do I hate the most? Oh, Gravo. It has the most armor. Demons are in, okay. And I won the game, and I was just like, no. Like, am I supposed to be playing Gravo now? Am I like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to be that guy.
I love this meta, so yeah. So my time for my Deflecto bros to rise up, right?
I'm not the biggest fan, but I do think I'm biased, right? And if I just get better, play better, start climbing, I'll be more.
We could stay on tier 4 together more. So.
No. Dude, the tournament's in like 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks. Like, I have to figure out what I'm doing.
Staying on tier 4, yep.
Hopefully not. Well, I mean, honestly, you can just get good prizes, and then you don't have to play this tier 4 game.
I'm just saying, yeah, no, I mean, if you get good quests, then unless the quest is a tempo quest, like you're a lot of the time you'll be using it on tier 4.
Yeah, that's fair.
One thing as well for Flurk, like a bit random, but we're talking about the heroes anyway, is I really, really like Victim Spectre on the Flurk, because you can easily make more Honchos and Swamp Strikers like that then. Because at some point when you're playing Flirt, you can have like Golden Swamp, Golden Honcho. That's 2 slots. 2 Swamp Strikers, and then 2 other Honchos, and then a cycle slot. So that's your whole board. So you can have literally all pairs where you're like, okay, I'm getting a Swamp Striker, I'm getting a Honcho here. So it's very easy to print triples like that. So, and then obviously like after that, you can try to use it to make Golden Baron later on. And the, even if you already have 2 Golden Honchos, getting a Honcho then is, what is that, plus 8 health to your board? And then a bunch of damage from your Swamp Striker. So, like, Victim Spectre is probably my favorite quest on Fleur.
Do you have a favorite quest in general?
Let's see. So I play Mirror Shield quite often with Murloc's Rim, but that's just kind of boring. Anima Bribe, probably.
Anima Bribe,
do a lot of cool Anima Bribe shit. But it's really, I feel like there's a lot of bribes you have to skip where you look at the requirement.
Yeah,
like,
I agree with you.
Yeah, but especially if you're strong, like you look at your board and like, because sometimes like this earlier today I played a Zephyr's game where the requirement was like summon 12 or something, and I wasn't playing with tokens, so I actually had to like summon 12, like buy them and play them. But I was strong, so I was like, okay, I have time, that's fine. Then you can take that quest, and it was stolen gold. So like, yeah, it took me a very long. I like in a different position, I might have skipped stolen gold to take an easier quest, because stolen gold still doesn't do much if you're dead. But I was strong. I was winning my fights anyway, so I could wait. And then I made golden Tarragosas, and it was a pretty sick game. So yeah, a lot of it depends on how strong you are. Like which.
I'm probably a wisdom ball.
Wisdom ball enjoyer, yeah, that makes sense.
Give me a copy of my board, or random Uthers with or a Baron like out the shop, like just like here. Like it's like what that shop is nuts. I do want to mention that Secret Sinstone like is not okay, especially with Nagas. I think if Nagas are in, like how where like Murlocs are in, the difficulty of
Sinstone should go up.
Yeah, Sinstone it doesn't. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but it should jump massively if Nagas are, because Orgazora with a Sinstone is just like the most. What the like?
If you survive, the game is over.
You don't like because let's say you triple. You have a Sinstone, you triple into Orgazoa. You get 2 Orgazoas. These Orgazoas give you a Discover. The Discover gives you 2 of the minion. If you triple anything, so if you have 1 Naga and you roll, you get the Orgazoa, you get that triple. That triple gives you 2 more. Now you can get a golden Orgazoa. I've done in 1 turn. I've done all of this, right? You can get golden Orgazoa. That golden Orgazoa gives you 2 discoveries. That's 4 minions. That 4 minions, you're guaranteed tripling something. You get more. Like I went from no board. I tripled into that 1 Orgazoa. My board was 2 golden Athisas and golden Orgazoa and like just like 80 like minions from 1 triple in 1 turn. I was like, That's how Odd Dragon did it. Because he killed me like that. I was like, oh, that must have been how he did it. Because I was just like, this is not okay. It was the most BS thing I've seen. And like the rest of the game, I just run out of gold or run out of time. Because there's no way you can use any of your economy. It's just like
friend of a friend-esque style, right? Friend of a friend with Sinstone.
It's definitely that level for sure. So I was just like, why is that not in the requirements? Because you can just pop. Because he had it turn 6. It was 8 gold, and that was his board.
It's been nerfed since then, though, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's been nerfed, but like.
No, it has. Like Sinstone has been getting more expensive.
Yeah, but I mean, this wasn't that long ago. I mean, it was this patch.
If it was after the latest hotfix, then yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Latest hotfix was 2 days ago or something.
Yeah. You can get Sinstone, like, and it's just like from one turn you can go from no board to this gigantic Naga monster, like where it's just like I've taken all the Athisis from the pool in one turn. Like it's like okay. So bid some definitely needs to be looked at there. The other options aren't like as crazy as the Naga variant. It's just like what is this? But other than that, yeah. I've said all I wanted to say. This was longer than I thought it'd be. I had nothing to talk about when I looked at the conversation today. I was like, we have no topics.
When is it ever a short podcast, Collins?
When the developers are here. I think it was like an hour and a half, which is pretty short.
Yeah, then we can just ramble. Right?
Yeah, it's because we just ramble.
Yeah. All right. Let's say goodbye.
All right. Shady needs to sleep, so he's shooing me away.
I'm shooing you guys out the door. I'm sorry, guys. We'll see you next week.
Sure. Get out. I need sleep. Yeah. I don't have that much longer. Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for tuning in. You can find us at HSBG Podcast Gmail. You can find us at Educatedcollins and Shady Bunny on Twitch and Twitter. And next week should be fun. Hopefully, I don't know if there's a patch next week, but it's usually like every other week or so.
Yeah, they've been doing so many hotfixes and stuff. I've been losing track, but there's a lot.
Was there another hotfix that I missed? Probably right. Because I know Alikir moved tiers, and I was like, that wasn't there before. Because Alikir was like 0 go armor.
Yeah.
So I missed a hotfix. Okay, interesting. But yeah, regardless, thanks for being here. See you guys later. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Etc. Bye-bye.
See you guys.